So let's look at the basic finger positions for doing a circle progression in C major. We'll of course start out with C, which is 1, and that's major. All right, so all right, here's a basic C chord. Notice my finger positions. All right, here on the very first fret on the B string is my pointer finger. Okay, next is, what is that, my index finger, my middle finger is going to be on the 2nd fret here on the D string, and then this finger right here, my ring finger next to my pinky, is going to be on the 3rd fret on the A string. All right, and you want to practice holding your fingers in such a way that you don't mute the other strings around it. So notice I have an open string here that I don't want to mute. I have an open string here that I don't want to mute. So if you're not careful, if I'm too sloppy in the way that I hold my fingers, I'll accidentally mute that. So I'm going to mute this on purpose so you can hear what it sounds like. Hear that? Now, there are some songs where you mute strings on purpose, but starting out, you want to practice not muting the strings so that you get control, over your finger position when you make chords. So practice rotating your hand, and some people go straight down, some people chord at an angle. I kind of turn my fingers at an angle. It really depends on the shape and the size of your fingertips. I have sort of, fat, pudgy fingers, and so I have to kind of chord things at a bit of an angle so that I don't accidentally mute other strings. But, it'd be awesome if you have, thinner, finer, more dexterous fingers than I do, then, you'd probably have that much of an easier time. But you'll figure it out. Every hand is different, every guitar is different, the spacing between the strings and the frets and all. It's sort of a mental thing, but eventually it's muscle memory, and you'll figure it out. Your hand and your guitar will sort of mesh and bond, and in your brain, you'll figure it out until you pick up somebody else's guitar, another guitar, and then you have to get used to a whole new thing. It takes a little while to get used to that. So again, just practice being able to play the chord without muting any of the strings. Blah 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 blah. Boy, I'm really talkative. Well, anyway, all right. So that's a C. The next chord is a D minor. We're just going to go up the progression. Remember, 1, 4, and 5, so therefore C, F, and G are major. 2, 3, and 6 are minor, so therefore D, E, and A are minor. B can be major, minor, or 7th, or any combination thereof, a 9th. And then back to C, an octave up. That was a C chord. Next in the progression is a D minor. This is a basic D minor. Okay. Notice my finger position. Here is my pointer finger on the bottom E string here on the 1st fret. I skip this B string here, and I take my middle finger and I depress on the 2nd fret on the G string. And then this finger here, I depress on the 3rd fret in between, all right, in between the other two fingers here on the B string. Okay, and here's my D minor. Of course, you could have a bar chorded, I almost said bar chorded, but bar chorded D minor too, but there's my D minor, all right? Next is E, and remember that's 3, so 2, 3, and 6 are minor, so therefore it's E minor, not E major. So instead of, I'm going to be doing E minor. Hear the difference between major and minor. Well, E minor is a great chord. It's pretty easy to make, sounds great in a lot of different songs. One of my favorite chords. Just 2 fingers, and they're both on the 2nd fret. So it's kind of a nice, easy chord to make. Everything else is open in your E minor chord. So you play all 6 strings, but on the 2nd fret, you want to depress these 2 middle fingers here, sort of make the little, I love you symbol in sign language, I guess. You depress right there. So you could call it the love chord. E minor, the love chord. I don't know, whatever. But E, all right, notice on the A and the D string how I'm depressing the 2nd fret. And again, practice orienting your hand, your fingers, so that you can play the strings without muting them. So let's see, we've done C, we've done D, we've done E. That's 1, 2, and 3. 1 was major, 2 and 3 were minor. Now next is 4 and 5, and they're major. So what comes after E in the alphabet? F. Well, this is an F chord. That's the way I like to play F chords. I do it in bar chord style. So remember, you use this finger sort of like a capo. But there's another kind of F you can play with just 4 strings. whatever's easier for you to learn first. If you play a sort of a minimalistic F, then just take this pinky here and cover both the strings on the first fret, and then take your middle finger here, and you want to cover the third string, the G string, on the second fret, and you want to depress the D string with your ring finger on the third fret. And just play the bottom four if you're playing a D this style. You don't want to play the top two. But if you want a more full sounding F, then you can do it bar chord style, in which case you would again keep this finger here on the G string on the second fret, move these two fingers up here, sort of like the E minor, but one fret up from the E minor, and then just take this finger here, your pointer finger, like a capo. Basically, you're making this finger a capo, and just bar. That's what they call it, a bar chord. Just bar that whole fret right there. All right, gives you a more full sounding F. Okay, that was 4. 5 is G, so this is a G chord. All right. Notice my finger positions once again here on the first D string. My pinky is on the third fret. All these strings here are open. Then I get here to the A string. I'm on the second fret with my pointer finger, and I'm here on the G string on this last D string with my middle finger there. All right, so that's a G. And there's lots of variations on a G. We'll cover these later. You do a G7 like that, but notice it's pretty much just a variation on the theme. And there's a bar chorded G. I'm gonna say bar chorded again. Bar chorded G sounds about the same, but you might alternate back and forth depending on what type of song you're playing. Sometimes a bar chord fits better, but for now, just stick with the basic chords. Don't worry about all you can worry about the sevenths and the ninths and augmented and diminished and minor and major. We'll go into that at a later time. Right now, if you're beginning, and that was the purpose of this video or this next few videos that we'll be doing. If you're a beginner just starting out, don't worry about all that yet. Just worry about getting the basic chords down, and worry about getting your fingers in the right position, such that after you practice this for a while, you should be able to go pick a song that was written or that can be played in the key of C, and you should be able to play that song and have fun with it. And that's the most important thing. Have fun with it. And then you're motivated to stick with it, and you won't give up. And if you stick with it, if you persevere, then you're going to get this, and you're going to get better and better and better, and have more and more fun with it. Music will be your madness too. All right, so G. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 we've done so far, which is C, D, E, F, and G. Now the next chord, if you go up the alphabet, is A. Is it going to be major or minor? What did we say? 1, 4, and 5 were major, 2, 3, and 6 are minor. A is the 6th chord in the progression, right? C, D, E, F, G, A. You start over after G. So go back to A. So if it's the 6th, it's going to be minor. So instead of an A major, which would be this, right? Or this, it's going to be A minor, which is this. Or this. Right? You can hear the difference. So again, look at the finger position for an A minor. Right? This string is open, the bottom E string. With my pointer finger, I'm depressing the first fret on the B string. Then I have these two strings here, okay, the G string and the D string on the second fret I'm depressing. And I can even add this last E string in if I want to invert the A. Gives it, give it more of a bassy sound, depends on the song I'm playing. So that there's an A minor or a bar chorded A minor. We'll go over maybe we'll do like a whole video later on bar chording or something, but for now, just stick with the basic chords. So far we've gone over 1, 4, and 5, which are major, 2, 3, and 6, which are minor. That takes us from C, to D minor, to E minor, to F major, to G major, to A minor. The next chord would be B major, all right? There's B major, and in some key signatures there's B flat, but in this case B. All right, that could be a B major, it could be a B minor, it could be a B minor 7. All right, there are several songs that will sort of modulate or maybe use a B and throw it in there with the key signature, but a lot of songs would skip this chord altogether. Then finally you make it back to C major, right? Or a bar chord in C, or however you want to play it. All right, so we've gone through all the chords, the basic chords, in a normal key signature of C major. So practice going through that. Slowly, meticulously at first, working on your finger position so that you want to work on building up the strength and the agility and the dexterity in your fingers so that you can play those chords without accidentally muting strings that you're not supposed to. You want to develop fine motor control over your fingers, and you want to develop a little bit of speed. You want to be able to switch back and forth as quickly as you can between those chords, all right? Depends on the type of, the style of song that you're playing and the harmonic rhythm of that song. And then once you practice that, so that you don't get bored, go find yourself a song that you really like, a pop song that you hear on the radio, or a jazz song, I love jazz, or a classical song, or blues, or gospel, or whatever floats your boat. Go find you a good song written in the key of C major, or if it's not in the key of C major, you can transpose it, or find somebody to transpose it in the key of C major for you. And then use that to continue practicing the key signature of C major. And you won't get bored. You'll stick with it.